Have you ever heard of people falling in love with their kidnappers? It sounds impossible, even disturbing. But in psychology, there's a term for this strange bond between captor and captive. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. If you've ever watched Money Heist, the hit Netflix series, you might remember Tokyo, the professor, and Stockholm, a hostage who eventually joined the robbers. That's not just drama. It's a modern example inspired by a real psychological phenomenon. In this video, we'll uncover how this unusual response works, where it came from, and why it still fascinates and confuses psychologists today.
The term Stockholm Syndrome was born out of a real-life crime in Sweden. The year was 1973. A man named Jan-Erik Olsson walked into a bank in Stockholm, armed with a submachine gun. He took 4 hostages, 3 women and 1 man, and demanded money, weapons, and even a getaway car. For 6 days, the hostages were trapped inside a small bank vault. But something strange began to happen. Instead of fearing their captor, they started to trust him. They defended him, comforted him, and even refused to testify against him after being rescued. One of the hostages later said, "He treated us well. I felt more afraid of the police than of him." This bizarre reaction caught the attention of the world. Psychiatrist Nils Bejerot, who assisted the police during the crisis, coined the term Stockholm Syndrome to describe the psychological phenomenon where victims develop emotional attachment or sympathy toward their captors.
So, why does Stockholm Syndrome happen? It's not love or loyalty in the traditional sense. It's actually a survival mechanism. When someone is held captive, their brain enters a state of extreme fear and dependency. They realize their survival depends entirely on the captor's mercy. So the mind does something strange. It creates emotional bonds as a way to reduce fear and increase the chance of staying alive. This is related to what psychologists call trauma bonding, when people form emotional attachments to those who hurt or control them. Experts say 3 main factors are usually present: a perceived threat to one's life, small acts of kindness from the abuser or captor, isolation from the outside world. Over time, these conditions confuse the victim's sense of safety and fear, making them identify more with the captor than with those trying to help.
Stockholm Syndrome isn't limited to that one event in Sweden. Perhaps the most famous real-world example is Patty Hearst, the American heiress kidnapped in 1974 by the Symbionese Liberation Army. Weeks later, she was seen helping her kidnappers rob a bank, even holding a gun herself. Many believed she was brainwashed. Others thought it was Stockholm Syndrome in action. In pop culture, Money Heist brought this concept back into the spotlight. The character Monica Gaztambad, originally a hostage, falls in love with one of her captors, Denver, and later joins the robbers, even taking the codename Stockholm. It's a fictional, dramatized version, but rooted in the same psychology: how fear, dependence, and isolation can twist emotions in unexpected ways. We also see similar patterns in abusive relationships, human trafficking, and even cults, where victims defend or return to those who control them. It's not about weakness. It's about survival under extreme psychological pressure. Today, some psychologists argue that Stockholm Syndrome isn't a formal diagnosis. It's not listed in the DSM, the manual used by mental health professionals. Still, the concept remains a powerful way to explain the complex human response to trauma and control. So, the next time you hear the term Stockholm Syndrome, whether in real life or in shows like Money Heist, remember, it's not about love or affection, but about the mind's desperate attempt to survive the impossible. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe to Mang Telso, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Stockholm Syndrome is real or just a myth? Thanks for watching, and stay curious.